Good morning. Happy Independence Day, if that is the right greeting. But nonetheless, we do hope you are mindful of the fact that it is June 12th. It's our Philippine Independence Day. Let us celebrate that we are, in most measures, independent, except economically, because we are still dependent on many other economies in the world. Anyway, welcome to your program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us on this holiday, Monday, June 12, 2023. I'm here in Lipa, Batangas, as you may have noticed with our background. Hindi po ito resort. I am not on vacation. I am actually on the job in our remote studio here in Lipa, Batangas. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being Cignal TV subscribers. Thank you for watching us on Facebook and on YouTube and on the Cignal Play app. Maraming salamat po. And if you notice na panayan, thank you pa rin to PLDT, Philippine Long Distance Telephone Company, for their PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet, which allows us to broadcast here in Lipa City. Be thankful, be grateful, because I have been telling a lot of people, when you have an attitude of gratitude, good things come to you. Hindi lang po pera-pera, but just the general sense of well-being and gratitude, because you become aware of the things you have. Like today, our independence. Okay, let's now go to our daily starter here on Agenda, where we feature a particular quotation, a statement, or something that we hope will help you start your day on a positive note or serve as a reminder of important things you need to focus on. And today comes from Mr. Jimmy Carr, and he says, every idea is about implementation. Now, you might wonder, obviously, if you have an idea, it remains an idea until you do something about it. But Jimmy Carr had a very interesting example. He said, look at Michael Jordan, or maybe even Kobe Bryant, or all the great businessmen. Would they be where they are? Would their status be if they did not put in the work? Okay, so like us, even if it's a holiday, we put in the work. And many of you out there are putting in the work, whether it's on the job, outside of the office, at home. You continue to put in the work. And that's when your ideas become realities and your realities become blessing. So remember that. Every idea is about implementation. Let's now go to our news roundup. A quick glance at the news from today's front page of the Philippine Star, June 12, 2023. And the headline is, I hope I have the right edition. Yes, I do. Voters' education set for 4Ps beneficiaries. The Commission on Election, COMELEC, intends to partner with the DSWD to conduct voter education among more than 1 million beneficiaries of the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. Okay. Bumoboto naman sila. Malakas nga sila bumoto. Okay, maybe we should ask COMELEC Commissioner George Garcia. Ano yan? Anyway, at the top of the front page, PHIVOLCS, no Pinatubo-like eruption for Mayon. Okay. According to officials of PHIVOLCS, Mount Mayon is not expected to erupt the same way as Pinatubo did, because Mount Mayon regularly erupts, regularly releases lava, molten lava, gas, etc., unlike Pinatubo. So, if you want a lesson from Pinatubo and Mount Mayon, Huwag po kayong nagtitimpi ng matagalan. Do not hold everything in and then suddenly explode in one big explosion or eruption. Kumbaga, si Mayon, pag naiinis na nagsasabi o napupuno, nagsasabi o nagpapakita. Okay. Now, Meralco, on the other hand, apologizes for NAIA outage last Friday. The 38-minute, power outage in Terminal 3, was apparently caused by an M-Serve technician who was conducting evaluations, testing, etc. Nakalimutan i-unplug yung isang equipment. And ayun po, nagka-short. Ang hilig ng, lagi nagkakaroon ng short circuit dyan sa NAIA. But anyway, good news is no major damage, no major disruption. And Meralco, respectable, to be admired, took the blame and apologized for it. Okay, big photo at the front of the Philippine Star. We have photo of caretaker puts up the Philippine flag at the Emilio Aguinaldo Shrine in Kawit, Cavite. Yan po in preparation for today's celebration where President Marcos to lead Independence Day rides. Ayun, okay. So, meanwhile, most Pinoys see quality of life improving according to the latest tugon ng Masa Nationwide Survey released yesterday by Okta Research. Okay, according to them, 54% of adult Filipinos think their quality of life will improve. 40% believe their quality of life will stay the same, while 4% think it will worsen. Okay, going further down, Malacanang or Palas extends De Lemos' term as NBI chief. President Marcos has extended the term of National Bureau of Investigation Director Mercado de Lemos, who reached the age of 65 on June 8. De Lemos will continue in his role until the predetermined end date of his appointment, which aligns with the end of the president's term. Okay. Pacquiao, meanwhile, Pacquiao top Senate bet in SWS survey. Filipino boxing legend and former Senator Manny Pacquiao topped the voter preference for senators according to a social weather station survey. The top 12 former incumbent senators in the voter preference also include Bong Revilla, Tito Soto, Bongo, Manuel Villar, Lito Lapid, Ronald De La Rosa, Amy Marcos, Erwin Tulfo, Ping Lacson, and Pia Cayetano. Sila yung nangunguna sa mga pa-survey. Okay. Photo at the bottom of the Philippine Star. Man looks at the miniature traditional jeepneys on display at a mall in Araneta Center, Cubao, Quezon City yesterday. Ewan ko lang po if they are commemorating something, but yun, kumbaga baka kasi malapit nang mawala yung mga king of the road. Anyway, last article, we have Chedeng outside Philippine area of responsibility. Okay, Typhoon Chedeng has weakened into a severe tropical storm and was expected to leave the Philippines area last night or has left. Ayan na po. Okay, so wala na si Chedeng and we go now straight to our guest for today, and I will now ask Gab. Gab, kindly roll out the Betamax, please.
The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, recently pointed out that Filipinos use the internet for over 10 hours, nearly double the global average of 6. Other studies have seemingly backed this, with the country being first in percentage of internet users who watch vlogs. Aside from this, another study conducted by Telenor Asia said that Filipinos are more socially engaging online than in real life. Is this a cause for concern or an area for potential? Let's talk about that today on Agenda.
Attorney Josel Batapa Sige currently serves as an Undersecretary for the Information and Communications Technology Department. She co-founded the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines, an umbrella organization of all ICT councils in the country. Batapa Sige is also a former councilor in Bacolod City.
Good morning, Undersecretary Siget. Thank you very much for making time on this day, your holiday. Pasensya na po, Madam Yusek.
Good morning. Good morning to all your viewers and happy 125th Philippine Independence Day and also happy National ICT Month because the month
okay. I
celebrated.
forgot about that. It is a National ICT Month and timing that we have you on the show because your name was flashed in the front page of the Philippine Star a week ago because of that study or that survey that says that Filipinos spend double the time than the world does on social media, internet. But the bad news is we spend our time entertaining ourselves. Could you elaborate on this, Undersecretary?
Well, basically that international survey really covers all countries in the world, and the Philippines turned out to be the highest in terms of time spent in the internet. So from the surveys, and it's always consistently the result for the last, say, 3 to 5 years, it shows that Filipinos are spending increasing amounts of time on the internet or engaging in online activities. However, this increased online presence is potentially leading to a decrease in time spent on activities that will be considered as beneficial or productive. So in other words, Sito, while Filipinos are becoming more connected and engaged in the digital world, our concern is that they may be not spending it on things that will add to their education, add to their work, add to their social interactions, and other endeavors that contribute to their personal or growth or the growth of the society at large. So we feel that there is a need for Filipinos to strike a balance between their online activities and productive pursuits. So to do that, they have to also bring productive pursuits while also doing their online activities.
Okay, now I actually asked particulars about your background and the team agenda, and our EP Gab Malyari sent me your biodata where it says that you were actually a consultant of the DICT before you joined them, and you were a consultant where your responsibility was to assist LGUs, barangays, to do their roadmap towards digitalization, and that you are, I believe, an Eisenhower Fellow or something, and so you're not just some political appointee that got the title USEC. You know what you're talking about. So based on your background, your expertise, how does all of this play out? Because first of all, when they say roadmap for digitalization, a little background on you, because a lot of people have the impression, anong digitalization sa barangay, wala pa nga yung libreng Wi-Fi, etc. Could you just give us a little background, and then I'll push it towards what we're talking about today?
Yes, thank you for highlighting that. So for 3 years, especially during the pandemic, I led the new program of the DICT as consultant, the Digital Cities program. This is identifying actually tier 3 cities. In the Philippines, we have 3 ranking in terms of digital cities. We have the centers of excellence, we have the next wave cities, and we have the digital cities. So I started as a counselor of Bacolod in 2004, and we work in actually complying with the scorecard, which highlights CITO for 4 criteria. You have talent in that area, you have business environment, you have infrastructure, and you have cost. So after 5 years or so, Bacolod City, my city, became a next wave city, top 10 next wave city. And then we worked on attracting IT BPO companies. So we moved from 0 to currently 40,000 jobs in Bacolod alone. And in 2013, we became a center of excellence. Currently, we have 6 centers of excellence in the Philippines for IT BPM. These are actually areas outside of Metro Manila, which is potentially have the big ecosystem to support foreign IT industries. And after that, in 2020, just before the pandemic, or just when the pandemic started, the DICT actually launched its next program, which is the Digital Cities. Itong Digital Cities is very close to my heart because these are the smaller cities. So you have the centers of excellence, you have the next wave cities, and you have the smaller cities. In total, there's 25, but some of them are cluster. So 31 ang kalalabasan, 31 local government units. So there are many interventions. We have institutional development interventions. We organize their ICT councils. Yun ang naging sikreto ng Bacolod and different cities 18 years ago. We created our ICT councils, which is composed of academe, government, and industry, because that's the formula.
It was intentional.
It was intentional to drive jobs. Kasi the question was, why are digital jobs only in Metro Manila? When connectivity is all over the country. So you can actually attract digital jobs even if you're in the far-flung mountains, as long as there's connectivity and as long as there's talent. So in 2020, the DICT launched a Digital Cities program, and sabi nila, hey, these are smaller cities which has the potential to grow. And who would be a better example than Bacolod, because we are a small city compared to the other COEs like Metro Manila, Clark, Davao, Iloilo. These are large cities. So yung story ko as a Bacolod advocate and also chairman of founder of the National ICT Confederation, we started with 10 ICT councils. Today we are over 100 ICT councils. So one of the intervention was the third intervention, magkasunod kasi yan, Sito, no? So you have organizing ICT council. The second is strategic planning, where you identify your weak spots in your city, your strengths, and you create strategies. But the third intervention is called the Digital Cities Roadmap. The Digital Cities Roadmap is where the ICT helps the cities identify and put together their plans, their strategies. You know, why am I doing this so passionately? Because 18 years ago, when we started with Bacolod and to grow Bacolod, we have no one to call. There was no DICT at this time. Talagang sariling sikap on our part. So, you know, I was part of DICT 2000 or last year lang. I'm now 9 months on the job. But I've been actually one of those who pushed for DICT almost 20 years ago. I was in the Senate and I was in the Congress as a probinsyana, speaking for and in behalf of why the DICT is created. So I'm really coming full circle now as part of this department.
Okay, so congratulations. You've got, sabi nga nung commercial nung bata pa kami, you've come a long way, baby. Okay, but congratulations. And so now you are pushing for the roadmap digitalization of smaller cities. I suppose our place here, Lipa City, falls under that. And it pushes job creation. Now, let's connect the two topics. You have the roadmap for digitalization, and now you have so many Filipinos spending so much time on the digital platforms, but spending time on what many professionals call the wrong things. Okay, now, first of all, based on that international study and being one of the founders of the movement for the ICT, was this all because of COVID, the lockdowns, because people couldn't go out? We had the longest lockdown in the world, the strictest lockdown in the world. So is this because of that people live their lives on the digital platform or social media?
Well, the Philippines have always been, very accustomed with the internet since it started 2, 3 decades ago. But you are right. COVID really pushed the usage of the internet by about 20 to 30% across the world. Actually, across the world. So, kaming mga digital advocates, we used to really push for digitalization, for digital transformation before COVID. And it seems like the things are slow. We're not heard a lot. No, but after COVID, we don't even need to push anymore. Everybody relied on digital to go about their daily activities. So, studies point out that just over the last 10 years, the numbers in the internet grew tremendously. In 2013, for example, there was about 2 point something billion people in the internet. Today, after 10 years, there's 5.5 billion. You can just imagine. Out of the 8 billion, we just reached the 8 billion mark as a planet last year. And out of this 8 billion, almost 6 billion are actually in the internet. And the 3 billion actually just happened in the last, 10 years. And in the last 1 year or 12 months, the growth of the internet from 2022 to 23 is 10 million. So talagang pushed to the highest limit, and every month, every year, there's more people going into the internet because I think they would need that due to the pandemic, social distancing, and all. So in terms of trend, currently in the past, people access the internet through laptops. Today, mobile use of internet is already overtaking laptops. In the past, we would access information through the internet through search engines. Today, social media has already become, overtaken websites. So in short, people now go to the internet to buy things, to interact rather than, the traditional search engines.
Okay, what are your sentiments or what are your thoughts regarding our shift? Because we went from analog to digital, from face-to-face to online, and then now we are practically all of us who can afford it, the 5 billion plus humans are online, digital. But here in the Philippines, we're kind of caught in limbo, they would say. We still have online learning, we still have face-to-face, but what are your thoughts? Should we just put an end to the online learning because we have gone to the extreme end of things, parang 10 hours on your phone, parang hello?
Yeah, well, to be direct, I don't think we can move backwards. We have to move forward. The world is going digital. We just need to have more platforms like your show to really make Filipinos understand that digital is not about technology. It's about new ways of thinking. It's about strategy. So I'm really very tempted to just quickly dispel the different meanings of these 3 words because they're always interchanged.
Go for it.
Their 3 words is digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Normally in the Philippines, we interchange these words. In the Philippines, we have yet to reach the digital transformation level. We are totally just in the nascent stage of digital transformation. And so is around 150 countries around the world. Because if you talk of digital transformation, you only have about 30 to 40 countries that's really there. So we are in this really beautiful level where we can change the trajectory of our country. So we just have to understand that digitization, as you said correctly, is simply just moving from analog to digital.
Yeah.
So you just encode whatever is written in your paper to something that's a soft copy. But does that change anything? Well, probably the form of the paper, but so what? I mean, you digitize. So kasi in the Philippines, when we put something in the digital form, we feel that that's the end of it. That's the end all and be all. But at the end of the day, you still have business permits that are very slow. You still have systems that are interoperable when everything is in software, but still you don't get the outcome you want. No, I like how you started.
Like many agencies have computers, have computerized their offices, but I still have to go from the land registration to the city hall, through the engineering department, etc., etc. So they're still disconnected.
Exactly, and I like what you said at the beginning of your show that it's always in the implementation. I mean, you have an idea, but the most important thing is the implementation. In my case, I have 3 words for it: input, output, outcome. Normally in government, I've been in government as a politician since 2004. Normally, we tend to really be stuck in the input, output. But the point is, we need to look for the outcome. The most important thing is the outcome. So that is what we're looking at. No? So
that's beautiful, Yusek, because I just did a leadership and team building training for a very important department of government, and they were the ones who actually pointed out our problem is we are so focused on accomplishment, and you are pointing may accomplishment ka nga, may benefit ba, or the outcome of your accomplishment, is it good or bad?
Yes, exactly. And that's what I call public value. When government services are implemented, there has to be a metrics for public value. And public value is not measured by us. It will be self-serving if we measure our own programs. It is what the public feels from our services. So going back to the second word, Sito, the second word is digitalization. Okay. So digitalization is putting together all the things that you have digitized in a form of a business model, in a form of a system, in a form of, let's say, you create an app that gathers all the music around the world and you share it with people on a subscription basis. Let's say you have a business permit system where you disrupted a paper trail and migrated everything to digital. So that is digitalization. But is it enough? No, because the last part is really digital transformation. Digital transformation is now when you combine digital with innovation and actual outcome on the end user, which in the case of government, the end user is really our citizens. We need to let them feel that the focus of digital is really not the technology, but how it affects their lives. Did it make their transactions with government easier, faster? Were they able to get as much knowledge and interact with other countries? Did they build something and make money out of the enterprises they built in the internet? So that when we reach that level where digital becomes seamless, parang we don't feel it anymore, it becomes a daily part of our life and makes our life productive, that would be the level now of digital transformation.
Okay, so like the basic examples are being able to shop online, being able to use the ATM machine, online banking, etc. But it is still in the private sector where that is happening and not in the public sector or government. We'll go for a quick break, Yusek, and when we come back, I'd like to tackle what can be done or how do we shift the Filipinos from going, to entertainment portals or blogs, etc., and spending 10 hours of unproductive time to making them more productive and maybe making their time profitable. We'll be right back after this quick break here on Agenda.
Around 30% of the Philippine population still has no reliable internet access. And with the country being an archipelago, the DICT admitted that getting the entire Philippines connected may take a while. This gap only magnifies the lack of information and communication technology or ICT skills of some Filipinos. According to a study conducted by the Philippine Institute for Development Studies, only around 40% of Filipinos have at least one of the 6 ICT skills essential to achieve sustainable development goals. How can the government then achieve its goal of widening internet availability in the country? That's another topic for today's agenda.
Okay, welcome back, Undersecretary and Attorney Josel Batapa Sige, and let's continue our conversation. Yusek, what's your reaction to that intro? How can government tap or shepherd the so many million Filipinos to becoming allies in the development program or development agenda, and how can we help them to make their time more useful and profitable?
Yes. Okay. So actually, that intro really resonates with everything that we are trying to do at the Department of Information and Communications Technology. We try to balance both digital infrastructure and digital skilling. So in fact, if I may just plug, since I'm also the chairperson of the National ICT Month celebration, every week, this week is really themed, no? So our overall theme for the month is connecting communities, enriching lives, forging a digital future for the Philippines. Last week, we had digital inclusion and innovation. This week, we have digital governance. Next week, we have digital workforce competitiveness. And the fourth week of June is digital infrastructure. So you see, this is really a composite strategy where it's not only connectivity, but also skilling. Now, I'd like to emphasize, because I and the Secretary Attorney Ivan Jan Uy, we just came from an ASEAN summit where we listened to the likes of Prime Minister Kaja Kallas of Estonia. Estonia is like the digital transformation model for us countries. And the emphasis over this conference, which just happened 2 days ago, is really on 3 things. One, that digital should be enabling. So we are already in the stage which we saw, especially during the pandemic, that digital is enabling. But we need to move towards making digital inclusive. Inclusive now is very important. Okay, so we have digitalization, but what about far-flung areas? What about senior citizens who are unable to use this digital? What about poor students who are in the far-flung areas where they have connectivity but they don't have gadgets? So right now we are consciously looking at how we can make digital inclusive. And the third level is really that we make digital trusted. Trust is important because as we speak now, still many people think maybe I can just do this in the internet space. You have that fear, you have that sense of using it. So what is the work of government here? The work of government here is what in the area of enabling, we need to set policies and programs that will really allow our citizens to leverage on the benefit of the digital age. So I must admit to you, Sito, that we are in this stage of really laying the foundation for policies, because remember, the ICT is only 6 years old. Just imagine, no? In 2004, when we were all pushing for a department dedicated to digitalization, ang daming humarang. So just imagine if we started the ICT in 2004, when India has its own dedicated ministry for the ICT as early as 2000. Siguro malayo na yung naabot natin if we started early. I have to say that in the Philippines, we started 6 years ago with a dedicated department. So in the policy level, we're doing our best. Number 2, we're looking at really seriously the digital infrastructure. So ito, under the watch of Secretary Ivan Uy and also our new national policies, which seeks to open our country to foreign investors. Ngayon, I have to candidly say, in the past, medyo close tayo when it comes to telco. Today, everyone can come from
Mm.
wired, wireless, geo satellite, LEO satellite, white TV space, all forms, submarine cables. We also de-Philippinized it. So all forms of technology that can provide connectivity, especially for GIDA areas. That's
Okay,
the
but Yusek, allow me to to interrupt you because all of that is good, and I congratulate the Duterte administration, the Marcos administration, and even those before them who worked to contribute, and like your group, no. But is there a social contribution aspect to all of those investments? Because I just interviewed the CREBA, the Chamber of Real Estate Developers, and all their projects, there is a 15% mandate. 15% of the value of their programs must be dedicated to low-cost housing or to public housing. Now, in the ICT realm or telco, all of these, I think you're referring to the Canadian group that's bringing in their satellite-based internet. Are they required to at least give 5, 10, or 15% to the poor barangays? Because you can bring all the investors if we can't afford them, and I know what I'm talking about. I checked the rates of that company. Montik na ako himatayin. Sabi ko, hindi pala ito pwede para sa mga media on the go.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to what we call I forget the exact term. What we're trying to socialize digital infrastructure, such that for those who cannot afford and for those who are in far-flung areas, the government steps in, and that's where the National Broadband Program really works, because the National Broadband Program works alongside the perimeter of this country. We already started with the landing station in Baler.
Yeah.
That's the Meta Facebook face. And over the next 5 years, we will be circling the whole country, given sufficient resources to really provide the broadband backbone for the country para mas malapit sa tao. Secondly, we are among the first countries to really roll out free connectivity in public places, public schools, public colleges, churches, and hospitals. So other countries are just copying this policy. No? So of course, there will always be some deficiencies on our part. Nagda-down din naman yung mga public free wifi namin. No? But it's nalalatag yan siya. And after this interview, you just gave me an idea to really check on the social value, social contribution of these commercial telcos. No, but I have to say, Sito, in fairness to all the commercial telcos, they have been also partnering closely with the ICT in really helping our Tech for Ed programs, providing connectivity for free for areas where needed, even providing gadgets and hardware. So we just have to really make sure that aside from the profits that they earn, they also give back something to the community.
Or at least maybe a joiner's fee, so to speak, because PLDT, Smart, Globe, they all invested over so many decades in the Philippines. They had to go through so much challenges, corruption at LGU level, etc. And then suddenly the good guys take over, and then the investors come in and parang ganun na lang. Ganun kasimple. You guys just join the party and you eat all the food. We did all the cooking, so to speak. No? So maybe a joiner's fee. But anyway, you were talking about the programs of the DICT. Please continue on what the plans are to be able to direct, shepherd, and tap the Filipinos.
Yes, so we already touched on connectivity. We are so very conscious, especially me coming from the probinsya. I'm also a very strong promoter for digital careers. We have a saying in the probinsya, pag may Wi-Fi, may hanap buhay. For the digital professionals. No? So we're closely working on digital infrastructure, but on top of digital infrastructure, we really need to take a look at the competencies of our workforce, because it's important that we have a digital workforce that's ready for the digital age. No, and that's our biggest resource. Actually, the end of the day, the Philippines now is really up there in the rankings in terms of digital industries because of our talent. But then again, para sa akin, kulang pa rin. Because we still have so many unemployed people, mismatched and underemployed. No, so the DICT is working very, very closely with other agencies and with our local government units to really up the number of digital skilling programs around the country. So we're talking here of three things. You have skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. I'm a big proponent of lifelong learning kasi there's so much study on learning need be age neutral. No? So in short, we need to create trainings where even a 50-year-old, a 60-year-old can go and learn digital and apply that to a job that probably is open to even senior citizens.
Yeah, the question is that included or going to be included in curriculums, or are there independent programs for that? Because my okay, for the purposes of transparency, my wife has spent a good part of a month just studying platforms, TikTok, all of this, Instagram, etc. And every time we talk and she tells me of her challenges, I said, why has no one ever come up with, those training? There is in Korea an academy for social media training where you enroll. There's actually, they even have studios. They teach you the technology, they teach you the apps, and they teach you the production side of it. And I said, dito ba, do we have courses for the young school, grade school kids who are beginning to get addicted to mobile?
Yeah. Sorry if I tend to speak on a very macro level, but I really, really think that all these things are simply just symptoms of something that's lacking. And which is collaboration among the different sectors. For the last 20 years, I have been pushing for academe to really design their curricula according to industry requirements. Ang problem natin, people are working in silos. There is always the tendency, I have to be candid, government sometimes or oftentimes create programs na parang magic pill ba? Na parang, okay, even in the cities, they go with these programs na parang pinapakain na lang sa amin sa probinsya, na ito, kainin nyo para sa inyo to. So, I'm not that kind of leader. I'm a design thinker. National government does not know what's happening in the local level. They need to co-design and co-create skilling programs with the local level. At the same time, in the academe, because I'm also part of the academe for 20 years as a law professor, we always think that don't teach us what to teach because we know what to teach. But that's a wrong notion. Many teachers are not industry practitioners. The skills that are needed by the industry are experienced and exercised by industry experts. So we need to calibrate our offerings inside the institutions with what is matched in the industry. Kaya nga, medyo mababa yung entry-level skills natin sito eh. Every time we have graduates, hindi mataas yung entry-level skills. In short, after graduation, they still need to be trained again. So that's a waste of money.
Yeah,
right?
They have to undergo training or retraining kasi hindi. Ano ka ba? Meron ka bang computer skills? Wala nga po akong computer eh.
Kulang na kulang. Yeah, I just have to emphasize three things. Critical things, digital competence and communication. Itong tatlo ang kailangan, and I don't know if they're teaching it in school.
Okay, but Yusek, what about the private sector making noise? Because I'm in media. If you had not been featured by the Philippine Star on the front page, I would not have known all the stuff that that was being researched by that international study. I would not have heard of USEC Sige, and we would not be having this conversation. But wala kaming nadidinig. We don't hear from the private sector or their groups na who come out. We need this, we need that. You need to change your curriculum. Parang bahala kayo sa buhay niyo. We will hire who we can hire.
There's so much that's being done in the private sector. In fairness to the private sector, I've worked with so many private sector organizations for the last 20 years.
Mhm.
But you know, the private sector accepts the fact that they can only do so much. What they need to do is really convince people, decision makers from the top level to mainstream all these strategies. Kaya,
And in order
yes,
for that to happen, they have to come to our program or to the media and to you as a policymaker so that it can be heard, it can be read, and it can be addressed.
exactly, and please provide us this platform, because let me just tell you, yesterday, ewan ko kung na-capture nga ng media, but under my watch, the Philippines is the first to host the ASEAN Girls in ICT. All 10 countries in ASEAN went to here, to Quezon City, to really think about how we can increase the participation of girls in ICT. But that's for another day, probably another program, no?
Mhm.
But I would like to already invite you. We have 2 upcoming events, which are, for me, very pioneering. We have the AI Summit, the Artificial Intelligence Summit, and we have the first IoT Festival, the Internet of Things Festival. You know, I'm a big promoter of IoT kasi dito lang tayo palagi sa software. We're not thinking of how to use this software and internet to create machines, to create weather sensors, to create all types of sensors and gadgets that integrate hardware and software. So that's right brain and left brain combined. We need to find these people who know Internet of Things, no? So ito nasa initial stage pa lang. And all these initiatives are being done by the private sector. So talagang malaking tulong if spotlight nyo itong mga festivals na to at itong mga summits na ito. So that
pakilista na yung pangalan ko sa top ng ano mo, ng agenda mo, because we honestly, you know, we have opened this platform to government, to groups such as yourself in your offices, and it is sometimes a painful journey for the agenda team to convince people that we are your partners in public information and development. Anyway, moving forward for now, because I promise you, and I hope you will join us in future programs, we will feature the private sector, if you can give us a few names and numbers. But for now, so you're talking about the Internet of Things, about AI, you're talking about girls in, ano ba yung sabi mo, internet?
ICT, women in tech.
Women in tech, etc. Now, are there, you know, real, I mean, projects where you see the people, you see what they're doing? Kasi like, you know, Filipinos, I don't want to be hated on, but it's the inggit factor. You know, we want to see success stories and we want to copy success stories. What about projects and success stories under your watch and under the watch of Secretary Ivan Uy?
So many. I think the last 8 or so minutes will not be enough, but there are so many success stories. And the success stories are felt by cities, by provinces, and by towns, and also by individuals. Marami po tayong role model. Scholars of our Tech for Ed centers, scholars of our various programs in the DICT that are now making money, also giving back to their own communities because of the learnings in the ICT. No? So I just would like to share that maybe through your program, I also would like to spotlight the fact that we have over 3,000 Tech for Ed centers across the whole country. It's a partnership not only of the ICT, but most of these Tech for Ed centers, the facilities are provided by the local government units. And
What
the
exactly
laptop,
happens there?
this is an innovation hub. A lot of things happen there. Trainings, startup meetups. They also do some digital work and digital jobs where they earn on the side. So it's basically an innovation hub in every barangay where people can just go and learn about digital skills, learn about a lot of things. So that's our physical space under the DICT. But our virtual space, we also have so many. We have the digital jobs program. And
Mhm.
one program I'm so proud of because we started it just last year is the Tech Trends. So the Tech Trends program is fully virtual. It's a training program that comes in different levels. So you have basic, intermediate, and advanced. And we have zeroed in on 6 to 7 emerging technologies focused on AI, IoT, cloud, blockchain, cybersecurity, which is very important. That's why I say trusted digital space. It's all about cybersecurity. So all of these things are skills. At the same time, they're also jobs. So when you learn a digital skill, it's not just the skill that you're after. It's really the jobs that you're after. So
Okay.
so these are the programs. Probably, as you said, we can give you some leads on the private sector we're partnering with.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we've reached the end of the interview program, but nonetheless, thank you very much, Undersecretary Sige, because we learned so much this morning, and we will continue this relationship with the department, with your unit, and with Secretary Uy, because we believe in ICT, and not just because it's ICT month, but because that's where the future really is. And thank you for your time. May God bless you, grant you favor, and protect you, and give you even more breakthroughs. Thank you very much, Yusek.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is mine. Good morning to all the viewers.
Okay, that's the Undersecretary Giselle Bata pa. Sige, batang-bata pa, marami nang na-achieve, nagtuturo pa. Okay, let's now go to our blessing for the week, which comes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verses 7 to 8. And it goes, "Hear me, you who know what is right, you people who have taken my instruction to heart. Do not fear the reproach of mere mortals, or be terrified by their insults, for the moth will eat them up like a garment, the worm will devour them like wool. But my righteousness will last forever, my salvation through all generation." That is the promise and the blessing of the Lord for all of you this week. And I'm Cito Beltran thanking you, thanking our guests for a great start to the week, and thanking God that we are all blessed and loved by Him. Please keep it here on One News.